Alright, guys, welcome to a DOA 5 retrospective video. I think when it comes to this game, a lot of the top players have already done stuff like tier lists and discussing like who the top 5 like strongest characters are. But I don't think anyone has really done like an in-depth breakdown of why these characters were so strong. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you're looking at the screen, you probably already know who we're going to be talking about. The old man himself, Genfu. Now, with what I said before, you could get varying opinions on who the actual like top 1 character, the best character is in this game. Some people might even direct you to the character right across the man right here. A man like Hayabusa. And that's fair, that makes sense. I think these two characters, like in various fighting game franchises, you always have like those characters that are always good. You know what I mean? Like you have your Akumas in Street Fighter, you have like your Heiachis, your Akiras, right? Genfu and Hayabusa are pretty much been that for DOA. These characters have been good in literally every version of the game. I think in this game particularly though, Genfu is a little bit stronger. If I can summarize basically the rest of the video, in case you don't want to watch the video, but don't do that, is that Genfu is really strong in this game because he literally has access to everything. Like he can do everything, he has everything that you could want in a strong character for this game. And I think that's what kind of sets him apart from the rest. Usually other characters have like some form of weakness, some glaring weakness you can recognize fairly easily. But for Genfu, I honestly cannot think of one. So one thing to discuss at the beginning is that DOA is a pretty interesting game because you can basically categorize all the roster in 2 different groups, and that is the speed class and the weight class. So each character, I have to pull up the frame data here. Old ass game, by the way. Check out this beautiful in-game frame data we got here. Every character is categorized by the speed of their fastest pokes. So in DOA, we have our jab, your mid punch, your mid kick, and your low punch, right? Basically the fastest type of every hit level that you have. And then you have the weight class, which similar to Virtua Fighter, every character in this game is separated within a weight class, and this directly affects how long and how high you can juggle characters. So, you know, there are very lightweight characters that can get hit with stronger, more damaging combos, and vice versa with the heavy characters. So Genfu, a man like Genfu, is blessed in both categories. So he is not a heavyweight character, however he is on a tier of his own, which should tell you something about this character without even going too much into details. But he's basically a subclass before the actual heavyweight characters. So he's a hefty boy. There are some juggles in various cases and setups that don't work on him specifically, that work on the midweight characters because of this distinction. So that's one thing. The other thing is that with his speed class, a character as heavy as him, and with all the tools he has access to defensively and offensively, there's no reason why this character should have a 10 frame jab and an 11 frame mid. For those unaware, 10 frame jab is like the standard for this game. Basically this is what most characters have, and then 11 frame mids are the fastest type of mid in the game, right? There is one exception, but you know, you don't really count that. It's very it's very case by point. Generally has a 10 frame mid, but whatever. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is the fastest type of mid in the game. And again, a character that has the tools that he has and of his weight class should not have access to this. This is already crazy, because you always have to respect this at round start and everything. Like, he always has a really big advantage because of this. Similarly, his mid kick is 13 frames. That's pretty standard. And then his low jab is 15 frames. This is on the slower side. There are other characters with way faster low punches. But this is still good because of things that we will get soon. But yeah, basically for his weight class, there's no reason why this character should be so fast and have access to so many strings off of fast moves. And we're gonna get into this, don't worry. But yeah, for starters, this man is blessed in both of those respects. So I didn't really know how to structure this video because there's just so much crazy shit this character has that is honestly just insane. Some misconceptions people might have about him, like I was saying before, that they might say he has some kinds of weaknesses. Now, for example, some people might say that he's very susceptible to mid-punch holds. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, that could be said for like literally half the cast. And then stuff like short range, but I also call bullshit on that. He has very strong poking tools from all ranges, some really strong spacing tools as well. So again, to me personally, I don't think this character has any like veritable weakness. He's all strengths, which is the reason why I think, you know, he's a step above even the top tiers in this game. Even in terms of like, I guess you could get like some honorable mentions that we're not, you know, moves and things that we're not going to get too much into detail, but he has, for example, like his 1P, his down back punch. This move is crazy. Crushes highs on frame 1. It's tracking. It will stun you on counter hit. This move is ridiculous. Look at the range, by the way. And stuff like this. This isn't even like the baseline of why he's so strong, and this is already crazy. So he has this, for example. Another thing is that even when you can contest him in some situations when you have frame advantage, or even on wake up, something else that this character should not have is parries. So man like Infu as well also has access to parries that can really give him an edge on so many situations, because again, you have to approach your offense and the neutral differently. So he has a mid parry and a high parry. What this means is that this parry will get all attacks from that hit level. So it will catch all highs and all mids. So for example, right here, it will catch high punches and high kicks. And the thing about this is that in this situation, he gets that guaranteed. There we go. He gets that high kick guaranteed. Now we look at the frame data. This high kick beats you at plus 34. Now this is another thing that I wanted to discuss. One of the things that makes Genfu is so strong is that whenever he puts you in these like guaranteed situations, or whenever he, like for example, just puts you in a stun, everything he does, most of the situations he puts you in are must-hold situations, because he has really deep stuns that are very difficult to shake off, and because he has his crazy ass throw game, which we'll get into as well, he just forces you to take guesses off of everything. Everything with him is a must-hold situation. He has very strong launchers as well. Again, this character has everything. So even in situations like we were just showing with high punches and stuff like that, he has an extra layer of RPS that you always have to worry about. And if he gets you, whenever he gets you in these situations, you have to guess. It's always a guess. So again, like I was saying before, a character of his weight class and with the speed that he has, where he can contest you at basically any range, there's no reason why he should have parries. Why does he have parries? And they give him such strong guaranteed options. So that's one thing. So further covering more of his moveset, he has all quality moves basically. His move list is shorter than most other characters, but when you have this level of quality with his moveset, you don't care. You use everything. Everything is super strong. That's another standout thing about the character. He has basically all his moves have a purpose. They all have a use for one purpose or another. One such move that I did want to highlight was this 4P plus K. So you can already tell by the animation, this is designed to be a what you would call a swing back blow. So this is a move that's designed to crush and go over highs, right? Depending on the distance and depending on the move, it can also crush mids. So that's cool, I guess. And you know, a normal hit, it gives you like a nice stun. Again, very difficult to shake off. You get basically a free mix-up. The problem is, however, when you get hit while you're already in stun, or he gets you on counter hit. This most often happens on counter hit. If you get hit by this on counter hit, you get that animation right there. Now, in DOA, there are various different types of stuns. That's called a feint stun. And depending on the stun, certain scenarios don't allow you to take a guess. You don't get to hold there. Whatever he chooses to do from this is guaranteed. So a feint stun is one such type of stun where if you get hit by this, you're done. You gotta take the next hit guaranteed. So again, this is ridiculous because, like we said, this is designed to go over attacks. So if he calls you out on whatever read and he gets this, then next thing is guaranteed. And the worst part is that if you get in a situation like that, for example, you can just loop it, and that launcher is guaranteed right there, by the way. So it's just crazy. Like every time, you remember how I said everything is a must-hold situation. Whenever he gets you with anything, as soon as he gets you in a stun, right, whatever it may be, like you have to watch out for this move, because he can just like do it and then get whatever guaranteed, right? So that's one of the reasons why, outside of this throw game and everything else, why you always have to guess when it comes to this move, because he can use it in neutral, he can use it while in stun, he can use it as a panic tool. It's crazy. You can literally just throw out this move as well. I think one thing, actually, I'm pretty sure this move is also safe. Oh shit. Yeah, it's safe. It's fucking -4. -3 even. So yeah, this move is completely safe. It stuns a normal hit, gives you the guaranteed on counter hit, whatever. It's ridiculous. Like, you can always just default to this move and find some form of success with it. One thing that I forgot to mention, as if it weren't enough, you know, is that if you're near a wall and he gets you with this on counter hit or on stun, if I can get it, he gets the entire thing guaranteed. He gets a wall combo guaranteed. Like, do you see the damage? Like, imagine you hit that box there instead, right? Like, the angle is just right and he gets you against that box, you're dead. You're fucking dead. Like, I can't believe I forgot to mention that, but yeah. Like, in most scenarios where you can get something guaranteed, if there's some sort of stage interaction, or, you know, something like, yeah, just some way to interact with the stage, he can also make use of that guaranteed. So very spooky. So we already discussed how crazy and insane 4P plus K is. Again, this is just like the default move that gives you everything. You know, like we said, it's safe, so you get into really like dirty shit, like you make them block it and then you parry. The retaliation, you don't have to guess between the mids because this covers both options. It's ridiculous, but this is still not the worst thing that he has. I think it's about time we get to that move. People that played that game, people that are knowledgeable in this game probably know what I'm getting into. I don't think we need the frame data for now. And it's this move, 3P. This move is, I think, in consideration for being the best move in the game. Now, how to explain this? This is a 15 frame mid punch, right? It doesn't look like much. It doesn't stun on normal hit. I have to say to counter hit. It doesn't stun on normal hit, right? However, as you saw right there, it does stun on counter hit. A pretty beefy stun. This is like the base way you extend his stuns to get into further mix-ups. The problem with this move is that it's a high crush. So much like this, you know, if you call out the opponent on your high and stuff like that, you get that guaranteed. You get the free mix-up, basically. The problem is that, let me see if I can get this. How do I do this? Hold on. Maybe pause at the right time. There we go. So, first of all, that looks ridiculous. But if you pay attention, he goes really low at the start of this move. And this is not just for show. This attack can also crush mids under most circumstances, even when you're minus. Needless to say, that's not okay in any type of context. Again, it doesn't matter if it's not as fast as something like, for example, like his 6B. You always at any point in the match, unless you're choosing to go for like a low, you have to worry about this move. You have to respect this move. Because again, in most respects, it will go over most of your attacks. There are such things as true mids in DOA, and true mids will hit very low, will hit opponents at very low stances. So if your character has a true mid that is consistent and reliable, you can kind of call him out on that and punish him for trying to do it. But this is still just incredibly impressive, like at all ranges. Again, it recovers very fast. It gives you that very high stun, and it's just probably the best panic tool in the game. And we're not even at the worst part yet. This move has a follow-up. Oh boy. So again, on normal hit, this doesn't look like much. It doesn't lead into itself. It's not a true combo. It's fine, right? The issue is yet again when he gets you on stun. When you're in stun or on counter hit, this puts you in a sit-down stun. Now, how we were talking about before with feint stuns, this is similar to that situation. A sit-down stun guarantees whatever option you choose to go for next. In that situation, you can go for a launcher, which is already ridiculous. Again, that's guaranteed. So this just multiplies the issue by tenfold, basically. So whenever he chooses to do this on stun, again, you always have to guess, and this is, some people might say this is reactable. You can kind of react to that, but again, the mental stack that he starts to put you on, it's just simply too much in most situations. Because again, if he just hits you with this, he can threaten like the free cancel, and then if you get too willy-nilly with the holds, he just grabs you and you die. And if he hits you with this, again, you get the guaranteed you get the guaranteed launcher. But for example, this sequence, that sequence is also guaranteed. You could also go for Oki in that, because again, like, you can do 333, the follow-up on its own, and that also gives you the sit down stun, so it basically just loops itself, right? So again, it's ridiculous, regardless of what state the match is in, and regardless if you're advantaged or not, you always have to worry about that. This move will always put you in a must-hold situation. And again, whenever you're pressuring him and he crushes you with this and he gets the counter hit, you have to immediately like take a guess whether he'll finish the string, he'll go for something else, he'll try to throw, right? Again, the biggest thing is the mental stack. Combine that with 4 people escape, like we said, and it's ridiculous. It's too much to go into. But yeah, basically this move can go over everything. It is extremely fast. It puts you into a guaranteed mix-up, and he can just get like so much damage from it as well. Like, that was a shitty combo, and look at how much damage he got hit. Again, as soon as after that second hit from the string, the entire thing is guaranteed. Right, the most basic of combos, and look at how much damage that took. So yeah, I mean, this move is just, you could talk about this move for so long. Again, stuff like even using it on block is also very, very strong, because if you use it on block, there's always like the risk of them using it to kind of like tick throw you, so going into that and then into a throw. And then if you press in the middle, well, you get put into sit down. And it just does this, and you're guessing again, right? You do this, he launches you, guaranteed. Look at the range, brother, like, right? So it's insane. Like, this move, again, to me, this is in heavy consideration for being the best move in the game. And I think I've made my point on why that is. There is so much shit, and I hate this move so much, that I literally forgot another incredibly important aspect about it. And it's the fact that, you know how we were just talking about true mid and how they beat this move? Well, guess what? This move is also a true mid itself. You see that? It can hit low opponents. Like, it can hit opponents on down states. So if it wasn't enough, this move is also a key aspect of his Oki. Like, very simple stuff like, and he just techs you up with that. Literally a bunch of Genfu's strategy can be summarized as spamming this move, because it gives you everything. It's good and neutral. It gives you the mix-up. It gives you Oki. It's a panic tool. As you saw right there, I literally did it twice in a row. If I can get it. It launches too, if the stun threshold is high enough. So it literally does everything. There's not a move that's more perfect, I think, in this game. You know how often people like talk about that type of thing in like Tekken, for example, like characters with really perfect moves? I don't think they have shit on Genfu's 3P. This move is just too much, brother. It literally plays the game for you. Yeah, again, insane. But I cannot believe, again, we discussed this move for so long that I literally forgot about this, which is also an incredibly like important part about the move. Now, after talking about these two moves ad nauseum for so long, you'd think that would be the end of it. You'd think you'd seen the worst. I can't believe I'm saying this, but no. We're gonna get into much worse things, if you can believe that. So one of the things that ties this character strategy together is his throw game. Now if you remember in the Virtua Fighter guide that I made, I basically mentioned how in Virtua Fighter pretty much every character can be considered a grappler as well. Some of that also applies to DOA. The games share a lot of similarities in that sense. So for a character like Genfu, his throw game is also incredibly important, because it's basically what allows him to tie a lot of these things together, and again, it's what allows him to put like such a heavy mental stack on you. So he has this throw, for example, quarter circle back throw, which just puts you in a +10 situation. Now nothing is guaranteed from here, but he basically just gets a free mix-up, right? And this is what we call a vortex situation. Most characters in this game have some way of putting you into what we call a vortex. And it's basically just a situation where you have to guess and take a mix-up, but the option can loop into itself. So for example, in that situation, like the opponent can choose to like try to sidestep, right? And throws will beat sidesteps, or they can try to guess the mix-up that you're going to do on hold, and you just throw them again, and they're guessing, right? What we just discussed, he hits you with this, puts you on this, you hold, you're in the blender, right? And you have to guess again. And that's the entire loop of this character's like game plan, basically. So a lot of characters have this, and it works fundamentally the same, but this wouldn't be nowhere near as bad if it weren't for, again, I don't know why, but for some reason this character also has a launch throw. Now as you can see, you know, we call them launch throws. This is basically just a free launch. It's a throw that launches you. Wow. So yeah, you're free to do whatever combo you wish from this, right? Let me see if I can hit a combo for the vibes. So something like that, right? Again, that was a normal hit. That did 72 damage. That's crazy, right? So again, because this threat also exists, he doesn't have to just relegate to going into the vortex. He can just choose to launch you instead and get that. Leads to tons of damage. You know, there's stages with ceilings in this game as well. They give guaranteed stuff. It's ridiculous. Again, I bring it back to the first point I made. A character of his speed that has access to parry, such incredible panic tools, should not have a launch throw. Why does he have this? This character literally has everything. He can exploit stages really well because of this. He just has everything. And again, going back to the vortex, what's stopping you from just doing that into this? You're +10 and this is 12 rings, right? Throws are already not really reactable in this game. You know, you just kind of guess. So again, if he calls you on like a sidestep or a hold and you get hit by this, you explode, right? Again, that was a normal hit. You can do so much damage on this. So it's crazy. Now, would you believe me if I told you this isn't the worst part about this whole situation? Again, I'm gonna get tired of saying this. I don't know why. For some reason, this character can catch you with a throw as well, off of a juggle, right? We charmingly call this the gentleman's throw, the gentleman's carry, sorry. And this fulfills a very important purpose. So basically, this is also off of any launch as well, for example, right? So you can get that off of any juggle. What happens with this is that when he gets you into gentleman's carry, he is +13, right? This is one of the very few situations where you actually get something guaranteed on a normal hit in this game. Most of the time you will get guaranteed stuff on neutral off of guard breaks, which he also has a guard break, right? And this can lead to guaranteed stuff as well. We're not gonna get into that, but yeah, basically you get most free situations that give you a mix-up from guard breaks, right? Genfu doesn't care about that, so you get various different types of guaranteed situations from this. The most common one is standing kick. This is guaranteed off of that. As you can see right there, this puts you in a +4 situation, right? So another incredibly annoying and incredibly powerful aspect of this character is that he can, and I'm pretty sure this applies only to him technically, he's the only character in the game that can put you in a vortex situation even from juggles, right? So he already has this, but this is a very common like sequence, and you're just guessing again, right? So he throws you, you can even do like a little like thing and then catch them, guess regain, right? So again, this can also be done off of something like this. You're guessing, you probably died off of that in a real match. So it's too much, everything leads into everything. And again, it's basically like we were just discussing at the beginning. Everything is a must-hold situation. If you guess wrong with your holds, he kills you because he puts you into these spots. And he can do so much damage. He can exploit the stages really well, go for Oki, reset you with the gentleman's carry. It's simply too much, right? Like, that's guaranteed. Again, that's guaranteed. That +4 right there is guaranteed. Look at the distance we're at. I can do whatever I want here. I have an 11 frame mid. I don't have to worry about you contesting me. I have this, right? Which, again, even if you block it, this is a built-in mix-up. If you try to do something like a crush on me, this will beat it because it's a true mid for what God knows whatever reason. It's too much. You cannot get hit against this character. Is basically like the entire message this video is trying to get across. Genfu was a menace in this game, and this is just like, it's not like the base level thing, you know. This is probably the most important aspects of the character. This is what makes him so strong, but he still has more stuff, right? That's not as oppressive, but it's still really good. So yeah, just imagine that. So to not go into further detail and just like showcase his entire moveset, because like I said, most of his moveset is incredibly good, has tons of utility, and it's just very strong overall. You know, I think we can leave it at that. Again, this character was a freaking menace. He was, again, I think for all intents and purposes, he was the best character in the game for most of his life cycle. He's one of the only two characters in this game to ever have had any kind of infinite, which, if you can believe that. So yeah, I mean, incredibly powerful moveset, very complete, has everything that you could want. You know, he's fast, he what we mentioned at the beginning of the video, his weight class allows him to not take as much damage as other characters. There's stuff like we didn't cover, like for example, if I can showcase this really quick. He also has, like, for example, like a wall throw, which also puts you in a really uncomfortable situation, because getting off of this, you don't have access to a wake up kick. There's just too much. There's too much to cover on this character. He was ridiculous. He was the best version of the character he's ever been, and again, he's always been top tier in every single DOA game, so that should tell you something. Yeah, I think that this may be one of the reasons why they may have taken him out from DOA 6, but don't quote me on that. Again, Elliot inherited some of his moves in DOA 6 And Elliot was a really strong character in this game. He was also very good, but inheriting Genfu's moves made him top tier. Like, how do you even do that? I can't even think of another example of a character inheriting another character's moves and that making them top tier. Like, that's crazy. That's like maybe like some Devil Jin shit or something. But yeah, this character was ridiculous. I think pretty much everyone was overjoyed by the fact that he wasn't in DOA 6. If there is ever a DOA 7, please, for the love of God, for there to be a DOA 7 to begin with, but to not bring this character back. Because I don't know if you can even nerf him. Again, his moveset is just too complete. Like, he has too many options and everything is just of such high quality. He has a taunt that allows him to remove his hat, bro. For God's sake. He can't even do that. No other character can do that. Like, hello? Anyway, I think that's a good place to leave it. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. I can definitely cover some other characters. You know, probably the most likely thing is that we can cover like the weakest character in this game, do similar things for DOA 6. There's a lot to really go over there as well. So yeah, let me know what you thought. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.